Hello everyone, I'm Beyza Erdoğan. As Dost Foundation, we greet you all. Welcome to the channel of our Erasmus Plus project, A Different Country, A Different Life. We come together with 13 different nations from 4 different continents, and we talk about all the aspects of being an international student and having education in your own country. Our participants share their own experiences with you.
So learning a language in Morocco is not that hard because we are a multicultural and multilingual country. So basically we have up to 3 to 4 languages spoken in Morocco. You can hear them, and also Moroccan there is a mixture of Arabic, Spanish, French, and sometimes Amazigh. So it is very rich in terms of the language. So we mostly know all the sounds. So whenever we are exposed to a language, it is very easy for us to cope up with the language and to learn that language very easily. There was no disadvantages, but also I should mention that I was very open to the culture of target language, that is English. So I always watch their TV shows, and I'm very active in participating in events, etc. This helps a lot. And also I have friends abroad in the UK and USA, so I communicate with them. These are other factors that facilitates the process of learning in another country. So if you want to engage yourself with the culture, the values, etc. of this country, you will reach a certain level of proficiency that is close to not the same, but at least close to the target language, that is English.
It's not hard. English as a second language. We study English or German or French. Who choose? It depends on the choice of the child when this child enters the school. From the first class, every child chooses the language and starts studying it. Usually it is English, but sometimes it can be German or French at the moment. Sometimes it can be also Spanish, as far as I know. We started studying English. Me, for example, started studying English at my first class, and I studied English for 10 years at school. Then till now, for example, at the university. So it wasn't a problem just to communicate and to see people from another countries and communicate with them.
In fact, being a Moroccan is quite an advantage for me, seeing that the Moroccan dialect is flexible. It gives you the ability to pronounce any sound like ha or or anything. So it is easy for us to learn new languages.
When I was at school, I decided to enter Bursaspor University. It was my decision, and I had to learn English from zero because at school we had these English classes, but they didn't really teach that well. And I went to a very good lecturer, I had private lessons, and she gave me a real education before entering the university, and that's due to her that now I know English. And when I entered the university, I understood that, they give some education, but it's still not enough to really become fluent in the language because we didn't have much practice. We just had some theoretical stuff, but as from my experience, as I see the students around me, I understand that they don't really know English, they just know some theory, but in practice, when it comes to speaking, especially to native speakers, they really lack some knowledge and experience. So I think that university is good, but for a person to become really fluent in the language, they need to move somewhere, like a country where the language is spoken, or a country where you don't know the local language and you have to use this language. And I think that international projects and studying abroad is a really nice opportunity for this kind of people to become fluent. And as for me, as I lived abroad in Poland, I was using English first, because I know Russian, it's my native language, and Polish is very similar to Russian. But still, I couldn't speak Polish because it's another language, and I had to use English. And yeah, it helped me a lot to improve my skills, because I was living with other people, because I had to buy some stuff from the shops or just travel to other countries. And yeah, and also I'm trying to make my friends do the same, like to apply for projects or go abroad. The company that I work with is an international European Chinese organization, and when people start doing this, when they go to projects, they really immerse into the culture and they learn new skills and new languages.
Because I am in Pakistan, our second, after my national language, it's English. Everybody speaks English. It's we are taught from the very young age. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, I moved to Budapest when I was 16, and that's actually funny, but by that time I didn't know English that well. In my school I was learning only German since my 4th grade. So basically I learned English through watching series, movies, and when I came to Hungary I started to learn Hungarian. So again, not English. Yeah, but I'm such a person that I like to take challenges in my life. And I learned Hungarian, and then I said, okay, now it's time to learn English. So I decided to attend university in English, to have all the subjects in English. And in the beginning it was really hard. It was very challenging for me, because I would literally need to read 200 pages, everything in English, like some ancient history, politics. I didn't understand a lot of the words, but I took vocabulary, I was translating word by word, I was writing down, learning, and I made it.
Well, actually I started to learn my language when I was back home, even at school. And then I had an opportunity to go to Budapest for the summer school at the age of 16. So that was my meeting with Hungary for the first time. And that's the time when I really fell in love with the country. But after that, I was studying in different countries thanks to my parents. I had an opportunity to study in China, in France, but in France I faced really a lot of problems because I was not mentally stable. Maybe I was a child still, and there was a lot of issues with the language, with the culture, with actually lots of things, and I couldn't manage to solve it, so I had to come back home. And when the question started again, should I go study abroad again or stay back home, I remembered about Hungary, and I felt really good in there, like as if it's my second home. So I just applied and tried to study in abroad again, and this time it worked.
So when I entered the university, the faculty that I applied for was called Cross-Cultural Communication, Tourism and English. And we had, most of our languages were dedicated to English language. But then during my second year of studies, they changed something in the faculties, and it was called service, which was not so interesting for me. It was mostly dedicated to tourism. But I knew that this was not something practical, and it was just theory, which wasn't so useful. And still, I was studying there, and later I changed to service faculty, and now we don't have so many lessons dedicated to English, and not every student knows English in my faculty because they didn't apply to enter university with these languages, with these subjects. But still, most of them are in English, especially the English subjects. But the other ones are dedicated to service or tourism and other general subjects.
My academic language is English, and the system is American system, as it is American university. And in my university there are a lot of international students from all over the world. Most of them are from India, there are Persian people, so Georgian, Russian, like anything. I remember the first day when I entered the lecture, the professor was from America, and when I listened the first, I felt like I'm lost because he spoke like very fast, and the very first day I was confused. I say, how can I handle this? I was 17 years old at that time, and I was kind of confused. But after a week, I felt really in my place, and now I'm happy that I
started
chose.
to speak and understand
Yeah,
better day by
yeah.
day.
Yeah, after time, I just got like before that I could understand English very well, but when the professors were native speakers, it was really difficult to like get fully the lecture, because we are not speaking about like general stuff. It's a lecture about specific topic, and from the very beginning it was kind of difficult for me.